And I actually moved here to become a presenter for Supercar Blondie. So she moved me here from London. Then I had the financial world, which also I'm sitting there thinking, why are we still doing this? Why have we not moved on? When I discovered crypto, it was kind of that answer to a lot of the questions that I had.
Lilly Douse, host of Talk Crypto to Me, international MC and presenter.
I think maybe a bit of both. Politically, of course, it helped Trump's campaign, got a large involvement with Bitcoiners.
She is here to give us her honest opinions on Trump's effect on the current crypto and Bitcoin markets. Will this be a win for traders or will it crash the markets?
Yeah, I think no matter how much people try and resist, it's already there internationally. It's absolutely incredible. But then, there's the cars that you can start purchasing, yachts. As long as the person who's selling is willing to accept crypto, it's a couple of seconds transfer. Stay calm. Do not panic. Do not doubt what you know and what you believe in, because people will try and test it.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Wayond podcast, where every single week we explore the pathways to success and beyond. Today we have Lilly. She is the founder of Talk to Me Crypto.
Talk crypto to me.
Yeah, talk crypto to me. And as well as a presenter, she goes to a bunch of crypto conferences all over the world, and she's a crypto enthusiast. So Lilly, thank you for coming on to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome. What a great setup.
Of course. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for coming on again. And so, I kind of want to dive kind of straight into it since you're in crypto. The state of crypto, there's a lot going on right now.
Yeah.
And something I kind of want to dive into first is, United States right now, they're backing out of crypto. They're not being so forceful on it. And they're kind of making it less regulated, They're leaning back on a lot of people. I saw they're even bailing out some people that competed in some big crypto scams.
Yeah.
So what's your current thoughts on this situation with kind of US kind of taking back the curtains on crypto?
I mean, I think it's positioning the world very differently. I think it's creating these very different jurisdictional segregation in the industry, which is both positive and negative. I think someone like a powerhouse like the United States, it's really important to have them at least allowing it in certain ways, but being cautious at the same time and showing that they're willing to regulate and just be part of the industry. I think no matter what it is, there's no really bad news that comes out for crypto, because I think the markets kind of justify that. Even though we've seen this dip, all of the markets have seen the dip. Like I read that like the overall Hong Kong stock market saw in a day like a 16% loss on average. That's crazy. So I think when it comes to crypto, I think everyone is looking at the States, but then there's so many other jurisdictions which are doing so much as well that, yes, it is important. And it's great if we can get more regulation over there. We can get the acceptance. I think especially with having Donald Trump in presidency, he is still very much pro-crypto. His son, Eric Trump, that was speaking at Bitcoin MENA, super pro-crypto, massive, big Bitcoiner. So I think seeing that, and even if it's not in people's faces showing as much support as maybe people thought when Donald Trump came into presidency, because I think there was such a crazy hype. Everyone's thinking, oh my God, it's going to boom. We're going to hit 200K in the next couple of months because Trump's in power. Even though that hasn't happened, I think still in the background, there's a lot being done. And whether that also be in Europe, also picking up on what's happening internationally, and seeing the need for regulation, they're still so far behind. Like I look at the UAE and I think, gosh, everyone needs to use this more of a case study. It's been done really well here. And I don't think many other countries have done that. I think the US will try and regulate, but then also we'll start seeing a lot more pro-crypto companies coming out of the US, more people operating in the US. But it also takes time. And I think everyone wants to see things happen so quickly in the crypto space. Because it's a tech-driven space, you assume everything's going to happen like that. But I think everything takes time. And I think people understanding exactly what crypto is important. It becoming more mainstream, noticing how much the banks internationally are part of it. So even if countries aren't picking up on it, if their largest companies are, it's still integrated really in the culture. So somewhere like the UK, which isn't necessarily very much pro-crypto, but half their banks have large holdings of crypto. So ultimately, as a country, you kind of are, because most of your assets, there's a lot of assets being held in crypto. So it forces their hand as well to do more, push more. So I think, yeah, the big powerhouses are actually more in control of everything than half the time countries. We forget that most countries are run by, well, it's true in every sense, it's true. So if the big powerhouses are supporting crypto, ultimately the country, no matter what, is still supporting crypto. And I don't think we're going to see money flowing out of crypto. I think, and especially out of the banks, I think it's going to stay, and we're just going to see more movements to improve how people can use it, more cross-border payments with crypto. Yeah, I think no matter how much people try and resist, it's already there. Like, it's already everywhere, ingrained in our culture internationally, that there's no avoiding it. We do live in a more technical world where a digital currency, multiple digital currencies are necessary, and it is it's a new movement as well. It's showcasing the power of community, the power of speculation, just that, yeah, as a generation we're doing things differently, and I think that scares a lot of people. Of course, that scares a lot of governments, but it's very special and unique that hopefully it's a way of changing the world as we know it as well.
For sure. And speaking of Trump, especially at Bitcoin Meta, he talked about the United States structuring a Bitcoin reserve. Do you think that is a strategic move, or was that more of a political move?
I think maybe a bit of both. Politically, of course, it helped Trump's campaign to have a large involvement with Bitcoiners. A lot of investment came in through crypto, and also his family also made a lot of money with his own campaigns and tokens coming out.
Yeah, we'll talk about that
Yeah, we
next.
can. Yeah, okay, that one's coming, of course. But I think also, yeah, there's something to be said about strategically how it positions the United States as well. They always want to push themselves. It's all about making America great again. And when your currency has a weakening potential through inflation, and you just keep printing money, picking something like Bitcoin where there's a finite amount of it is actually very important for their structure. I think if he was smart in his thinking, which I assume he is, he's an amazing businessman. Even if people don't like him, what he's done and created is still incredible, and he was voted in, so there's not much you can do to change that. But he comes from things with a strategic mindset. So if he was looking at that, I would assume that he saw this ability of having a finite amount of a digital asset being really important, because with the US dollar and internationally, just everything happening and the weakening of certain currencies, super important. I mean, even with the tariffs and everything that's come into place, crypto really it's not impacted in them ways. When people talk about tariffs, that's really mainly going to be a fiat to fiat transfer. It's not really discussing crypto as a payment alternative. There isn't really, I mean, theoretically there is a tariff on it if it's moving from China to, but still it's different. It has this very uniqueness that keeps it away from all of this which is happening in the world. So yeah, in my mind, he's a strategic genius in many ways. So I think this is definitely, hopefully, part of his strategy.
And you're speaking upon tariffs. I know tariffs is more fiat.
Yeah.
Do you think the tariffs is going to have a bullish or bearish influence on crypto?
See, I think, again, it's the general markets, it's going to have a big impact. I think that could be a benefit for crypto almost, because if you're seeing a lot of the stock markets collapsing and crypto is maintaining, which really it has. Okay, we saw a fall, but the bounce back has been pretty good. I mean, I say to a lot of people, like when I started in this space, we were hovering around 16K for Bitcoin, and that's when I started actually on stage in this space. So the difference is still mind blowing, like how far we've come. So I really can't see us having too many issues when it comes to the tariff. I think it will have a big impact on certain industries, which could trickle into impacting crypto if places start having a recession. it's not good for anyone. So does that mean then people might be taking money out of crypto? Banks might be taking money out of crypto. But I think people's mindset now more than ever is to maintain their crypto, to make sure they're not selling because they see so much potential in it. So I think people kind of find other ways to not sell, to find something else to sell rather than selling their crypto now, which is pretty crazy. But I mean, I think it's quite a tactical move for most people is not to sell and to hodl as much as possible. Of course, I'm also understanding that if people need to, and in terms of businesses, but are there ways that crypto can actually help businesses as well through these tariffs? Like I was saying, it's kind of more of a fiat problem. And I'm not saying doing things wrong and paying in crypto and avoiding the tariffs, but is there ways that crypto can be utilized in terms of supply chain as well? Can we find ways where technology can kind of go above governments as well? Who knows?
I think crypto does do that.
It does already, but can we do it in a more of a legal way that we're going against government? So, rather than completely going against them by avoiding the tariffs, are there ways that blockchain can be utilized? Because that's something I'm really pro about talking in the space. It's not just crypto, it's also blockchain. It's a technology, and like in terms of supply chain, will this force people to start using more technology to help streamline it, help to avoid unnecessary costs where they're buying from multiple different suppliers in China? And can it help to identify different supply chains for them through technology? So I also see it in that, will it just be technology that ultimately succeeds in this kind of environment?
I didn't check the Bitcoin price today. I should have. I believe yesterday was sitting at like 80 to 90K between that.
Yeah, it was around 85, 86 yesterday we hit.
So people are saying because Trump's in presidency now, just the whole state of the bull market, people say that, oh, crypto's going to hit 130K, 200K, even potentially million in the future. What do you think can even just swing that initial 130K, 200K boost?
I think it's going to be a lot of things. It is definitely the global environment, which is super important. So when wars are happening, it will always have an impact on every single different type of economy. A digital asset is no less impacted sometimes than a few other assets. So I think that can definitely be important. But the world's becoming a more expensive place anyway, I think, to live in, and when we have things, yeah, like inflation going up, issues around the world. I mean, the UK, again, I draw back to that mainly because I'm from there. But I think the more people realize how broken the system is, the more they move. So it might not just be one trigger, and I don't think it will be. I think it will be everything coming together and people really starting to understand the notion of decentralization, and the power of owning your own assets, having more power over your money, moving away from the currencies which are controlled by the government, which is every single currency, moving away from that and appreciating something which is completely digital. It's international. You can travel the world, and your Bitcoin that you leave the UAE with will basically be around the same price when you land in America, give or take, depending what happens to the markets. But it's knowing that you don't have to convert, that it is this international currency that can be used anywhere. I think it's things like that. And especially when you start being able to tap and pay for everything in crypto, when we move away from actually worrying about the price and actually considering the price of things in Bitcoin, in Satoshis, I think that will be the groundbreaking days. That will be less when people are concerned about the price and more just concerned about, how do I use it? How do I have that credit card? How do I get some Bitcoin so that I can pay for things? And I think the world is moving that way. I'm seeing more and more people accepting crypto, whether it be for real estate, whether it be for car payments sometimes, whether it be a proof of funds for a mortgage. So we're really seeing that people are noticing the importance of crypto, even with its volatility. And I think it won't be one thing. It won't be like a trigger of a gun. It's going to be like a trickle of a stream, which over time there's something that's stopping it. And the moment it releases, the flow is just crazy. It becomes like a water park where everyone just wants to be part of it and enjoy it and be in this amazing industry.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree. And I think kind of you tapped upon it when it becomes more accessible to where your grandma can use it on a simple credit card. That's when it could become super, super mainstream. You touched upon also use cases of it. Dubai. I haven't been here too long, so I haven't done anything with crypto
Welcome
yet.
to Dubai, Habibi.
Thank you, thank you. It's been 7 months. But what can you do here with crypto? Because I've heard stories that you can buy houses, you can buy a villa on Palm Jumeirah, you can buy a yacht, you can buy cars in full crypto, you can sell it for crypto. How true is that here in Dubai?
It's very much true. I would say, again, a couple of years ago, that people would say they accepted crypto, but it was a lot more, they would take your crypto and cash it out into fiat. So there'd be a little fee. And to me, that's actually not paying in crypto at all. You're basically just selling out your crypto. Whereas now, a lot of developers here accept crypto. So mainly at the moment, it will be USDT, but you can take whatever it is. If you have your Bitcoin, convert to USDT and then send that over. But I think there will be a progression where that will become, and I think some developers do it already, but Bitcoin can be sent as well rather than just USDT. But the simplicity of that is amazing. Like for me, it was so easy to move money here through USDT. I don't need to do anything. I have it in my wallet and I spend it. So it's, again, it's for people that don't realize how much easier it makes their life. It is groundbreaking. If you try and go to a bank, take out that money, they're like, well, what are you doing with it? Where are you buying? You're purchasing a property. Well, where? Okay, well, we're not sure if we can release that type of money. Can you just accept 30K this time and then we'll let you in a couple of months release more? Absolutely not. No, that's my money. I can choose to do whatever I want with it. Surely that's the principle of earning money, is that it's once I've got it, it's mine. But the banks don't allow that. So I think seeing that you have this complete financial freedom by having crypto and it's not locked into someone's bank is absolutely incredible. But then, yeah, there's the cars that you can start purchasing, yachts. As long as the person who is selling is willing to accept crypto, it's a couple of seconds transfer. It's so easy. And I mean, a lot of the millionaires, crypto billionaires, dare I say, are here in Dubai. So, of course, they're going to accept crypto. They're more than happy to just keep increasing their holdings. So, I think that's why Dubai as an economy works so well for technology, for crypto, because it is one, as it's a relatively small community, like it's not as huge as some other cities of the world, but also everyone here is understands crypto in a majority, and they see the value of it and they're willing to accept it. I mean, I get paid in crypto most of the time, and it's great. And I leave my money in crypto. I don't ever move it out. Like, I'm so happy that I have this holding of crypto and it just accumulates. I also appreciate if I need to pay rent, I might need to take some out. And there's nothing wrong in that. I also hate in the space where we're like, oh, you convert to fiat.
Not a diamond
Yeah.
hands. Yeah.
And it's like, I have to pay rent. I have to go to the grocery shop. I'm not against you. Sometimes you need to do it. But it's still so nice that I have the option to be paid in it and I can choose what then I invest in. I can make money passively through crypto on the money that I've received. And then I can also cash it out if I want to and spend it on some things. But I think that's also a really important thing of in the industry, which is like we need to remove that shame of like, oh my God, I can't believe you bought a property and you didn't hold on to your Bitcoin. And it's like everyone has their own needs, their own requirements. But as long as we continue this kind of Bitcoin economy, crypto economy in the best way we can, that's the most important thing. But like, be open, making sure we're like supporting each other and we're explaining things to our friends in a simple way. We're not shaming people for not getting it or for thinking it's still a scam. Like, there's still those people out there, and we need to educate people and just support them and help them to just see how easy it is to use, rather than being like, God, you don't own crypto. Like, what are you doing? You're missing out. That's not helpful. You need to actually like help each other to understand why it's so important.
For sure. Yeah, I know the Web3 degens are definitely like that.
Yeah.
And definitely, I would say being in Dubai now compared to America, the crypto culture is much stronger and much, much friendlier here. I did some research on you, of course, and you went to school in London.
Yeah.
You study in London. You chemistry, right?
I did
You
indeed,
were
yeah.
a lab type of person.
I was.
How'd you get into crypto?
So, oh my God, it was a journey. Yeah, so I decided I wanted to study chemistry because I just absolutely loved it as a subject. I thought I wanted to become a research scientist. Within 2 days, I was like, what am I doing here? I cannot work in a lab. This is just, it's toxic. It's just not where I want to be. I don't see my life being here. I completed my degree. I actually still found it fascinating, but I knew I wanted to get out. So then I moved and I worked in corporate finance. People in America always find it odd because in the UK, you can kind of study whatever and still move into the finance space, or other than like the stuff you really need to be qualified for, like in terms of legal or a doctor. But other than that, if you have a good degree, you're fine to go off into the world and work in finance, like no problem at all. So I went and did that. I think I did that for around 3 or 4 years. It felt like a lifetime, but that was working in due diligence in a city in London, and I hated that. I absolutely hated working in an office. I found the system so archaic. A lot of it was looking at supply chain. Hence why that's something I'm really big on, technology helping to transform, because I would sit there and literally be like bashing my head against the wall all day. Like, why are we using these systems? Some of this has been in place for like 30 years. Why have you not transferred it over? Why is every system on a different platform that then isn't integrated? It made no sense. So it made me question a lot. Then I had the financial world, which also I'm sitting there thinking, why are we still doing this? Why have we not moved on? So when I discovered crypto, it was kind of that answer to a lot of the questions that I had. And I always say to people, if you do, the biggest thing is if you have these questions and you're looking for a solution, that's when it's a good time to get into crypto. If you're just plodding along and you don't see any issues in what's around you, you probably don't need to really get involved yet. It's when you really like start looking at it and thinking, this is broken. This system doesn't really work. What else is out there? That was really when I discovered crypto. So that was pre-COVID. So around 7, 8 years ago now, I really discovered it. But then I went on a little path and a journey of really trying to figure out what I wanted to do in life. And I actually moved here to become a presenter for Supercar Blondie.
Really?
So yeah, that's
Ah,
why I moved here. So she moved me here from London, and it was my first presenting job that I ever got to do. I very much discovered quite quickly that I didn't have a huge passion for cars either. That wasn't my thing. So I started up my own business. I started Talk Crypto to Me as a podcast. And then it kind of snowballed from there, that I really became more integrated in the community, working on some of the biggest stages, which I still blows my mind. Yeah, the idea of being in Vegas, and I think we're expecting around 30,000 people, and be at the biggest Bitcoin conference in the world is just, for me, yeah, I still like pinch myself. I'm like, me? Really? Because that wasn't even the path I expected. But like you said about Wayond being this kind of like, you don't know what way you're going to take, you figure it out. That was kind of my life. Like, I had no idea where every step was going to take me. But one, it's been super exciting. Like, I do not look back and ever feel sad of anything I did. Like, could I have gone into media training early and become a presenter straight out of school? Yes, but I feel like all of the things I did between shaped me for, one, just really appreciating what I get to do now. I get to travel the world. I get to meet the most incredible minds in this emerging space. And two, yeah, I think it just makes me wake up every day and just be so motivated that I'm like, I'm not in an office. I'm not stuck in a lab. I have options to do whatever. I get paid to host X spaces or to film video content, like that kind of stuff. It's like, it's just me being me and talking to camera. But the fact that that even has validity in the world is still amazing for me. So yeah, it's been a journey, but I think once I discovered crypto, it was just had that pull for me to make sure I ended up coming back to it. And then when I started presenting, it was like, this makes sense. Like, this is something I really do want to be part of. And it is a movement in a way, like you're saying, there's so many of those crypto bros out there, the degens, who it's a massive community. And like to feel part of that is amazing. And I think I bring something so different to the space as well, because most people imagine it being very techie people or developers. They don't really see the side of people that are just fascinated and are a nerd in their own way, but it doesn't always come across. And that's why I think I really enjoy being on stage as well, because people then in that, I mean, I'm probably on stage for like 8 hours a day. They get to know me. They get to know that how fascinated I am. And I really enjoy that because it just adds to that personal side of things. And then I've met so many incredible people. Like I look at some of the people that I know in the space and I'm like, wow, it's just insane. Like the people I get exposed to, it's amazing.
Yeah, I can definitely see your enthusiasm and passion for crypto for sure. You know what's crazy is it's cool to see the link between finance, you realizing, oh, the system's broken, and tie that into crypto. You studied chemistry, you're a lab girl. When it comes to presenting, were you always extroverted? Were you introverted? Like, how did you get into presenting?
Yeah, I guess I have always been quite extroverted. I mean, my parents would say that I never shut up. Like, I would be that kid that would just talk and talk all day. So, but then in certain ways, I never really was. Like, obviously, my degree was very much being internal, being on your own, studying by yourself. So I think I can do both. I think it sometimes makes it a little bit more challenging as a presenter because I give my all, I give all my energy. But then I need some time where it's just me on my own, whether it be like going for a walk for a couple of hours, it will be running outside for hours. Like, I just need my time. Like, I do love a bit of both, but I would say in general, I'm a extrovert, but I also need to recharge my batteries. And like, I've never really had media training. Like, it always amazes people that I never went down that route because I think it's great for certain people. And I think especially in certain professions, if you're on TV or you're doing certain types of events, it makes sense. But in crypto, it's a lot more about being your authentic self and not getting caught up on exactly what you're saying, but it's more about the enthusiasm and caring about what's going on and talking about it in a way that is just very fresh and organic and it hasn't been overly scripted. People don't want me on stage reading out line after line. They know most of it already. Like that's not what they want. They want the passion, they want the care. Yeah, like I get so excited when I get to announce Eric Trump on stage or CZ or like someone that I've just been aware of for so long. To be in the same room as them is incredible. Like so many of the people that I get to meet. So yeah, I think not having that media training sometimes just comes across really quirky and unique, but just me. That there's no polishing on it. It's just how I am.
It's so cool to see you've done it naturally. Can you recall the first time you presented in front of a big audience and how you did?
Awful.
Awful.
Or maybe I didn't do awful, but I remember being so nervous. Like it's that feeling in your stomach, like staring at the stage, and you're thinking, I don't want to go up there. Like there's tons of people. What if I say something wrong? And don't get me wrong, sometimes before a big event, I still have that slight feeling in my stomach, but I've learned just to enjoy that feeling, like enjoy the nerves and just let it then make you fired up to be ready. And you've got to make sure I'm also very well prepped. So I will say that like kind of having my scientific nerdy side means that I can't go on stage without making sure I've done research. I'm very clued up how to say the names. I try and do lots of research into that. It still comes across in a British accent. I still haven't mastered the art of changing that, but still, like I make a big effort to know that the moment I'm stepping on that stage, I have enough prep, that I've done enough market research of what's been happening. I've looked up what new projects are coming to market. Because sometimes I'll have an earpiece and it's like, keep talking for the next 5 minutes, and it's like, okay.
Oh man.
What the hell am I going to say? Like I had that in Bitcoin Amsterdam, and that stage, I think that was the biggest stage I've done. It was one of those ones where you walk out, like
Oh.
almost like a
There's
catwalk.
everyone's on the sides. Yeah, yeah.
It was huge. Like I would recommend going to that event. It was absolutely, I really enjoyed it. It was in like an old gas what do they call it? Like where they used to not manufacture gas, whatever they used to do. But it's amazing building, and yeah, this walk it was a at least 10-second walk out. So like in that time, like you're just taking on board everything around you, and then they're saying, okay, our next speaker's in the toilet, so 5 minutes, 5 minutes to talk, and you're thinking like, God, what the hell do I say? 5 minutes. But it's just a matter of like, yeah, knowing your topic, knowing, kind of having a rough idea before what you would say if you have these pauses. And I can just say anything. That's the other thing. It's not scripted. So, like, I think the fact that I haven't had media training means I don't freak out as much. I'm kind of like, okay, cool. Yeah, well, let's just talk about something. I'm not reading an auto cue, which a lot of people do. It's just me. So, like, and then they can't even really come back to you and say, oh, God, you shouldn't have said that. It's like, well, you shouldn't have given me 5 minutes on stage. So, that's also the nice thing is like, it's kind of just allowed that you can say within reason whatever you want and that really have that like impact. So, I don't know where we started on this one,
Yeah, yeah. I know you went
yeah,
down
yeah, I went
your
down an
presenter path.
absolute rabbit hole. But yeah, I think becoming a presenter was probably not exactly on the cards for me, even though my parents would probably say that it was probably more likely than becoming a chemist. But yeah, I just figured out my own path, and yeah, I generally love what I do.
Yeah, no, that's really amazing. And I guess, are you still your future goals for the next 5 years? Are you still trying to become up your way in the presenter game, or are you trying to kind of do your own thing? Like, what's your kind of plan?
I think it's a mixture of both. Like everyone likes to ask, like, yeah, what's coming up next? Are you going to restart your podcast? Are you going to do any bigger events? Even though I'm not really sure what ones. I mean, I have an idea of a few more countries that I want to go to from the events, but it probably is also to kind of build up my brand, work with some of the biggest name like brands in crypto, so whether it be some of the big exchanges, like really have an impact on those, and then also work with some startups, help to introduce them to the right people, like come to market methods. Like obviously I have a lot of experience being on stage, so how they can one speak on stage about their projects and pitch their projects, what's the best way to really take them steps into becoming a bigger company within the space. Because I have that exposure, I think I have a lot of awareness of how the different markets operate, what you should be looking to do in different markets, what will work, what will less so work. So yeah, really working more with companies in the Middle East and internationally to help build up their brands, and then probably ultimately, yeah, try and have my own thing as well, whether it be more like a consulting concept. And just keep enjoying it. I think that's a really, like, sometimes people forget that. They're like, I have all of these in the next 5 years. I want to do this, this, and this. But then after 5 years, they're not happy with what they've achieved because they're like, wow, I missed out on this and I should have done this. And ultimately, for me, it's as long as I'm hitting the small things that I want to achieve. I'm working with the brands that I want to work with, which aligns with me as well. Like, that's another thing. I don't want to sell out, and I don't want to be promoting meme coins that I don't believe in, and I don't want to be part of, as much as I can avoid it, be part of anything that's just negative in the space. So how do you do that? Well, you have to kind of keep your focus on keeping it quite tight and small and building very naturally and organically and letting people enjoy what I do, and then have that kind of flow in, because it still hasn't been the longest time that I've been working on stage doing it. So I think there's still so much potential. But I think that's kind of my aims, and avoid being a KOL. That's my other. I just don't want to become like anyone that promotes things. I want to be like a voice of reason, someone people can trust, someone that brings positivity to the space, not someone that's telling you what to do. Like, I think that's just, you don't have that in finance. Not really. You don't have people being out there being like, go buy gold, 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 gold. You have the few, but it comes across, everyone knows that that's just, you're not going to listen to them. So I kind of prefer to be that overarching positivity in the space rather than the person that's just selling.
For sure, yeah. You see a lot of influencers abusing their powers. It happens a lot, so it's good to see that you want to do something positive in it. When it comes to crypto, there's obviously highs and lows of the market. your journey into crypto, can you recall any low points that you've had?
A lot of low points. I mean, I really, as a presenter, a lot of the time was going through a bear market. So there was a lot of times where the jobs weren't coming in, and I was thinking, God, did I choose the right industry to really concentrate on? Because I did kind of pigeonhole a little bit where it's like, I want to work in crypto, I want to be this person in the space. And it's dangerous because if you are going to pick an industry, something so volatile, it's quite nerve wracking. And if I'm getting paid in crypto as well, there's always going to be them times when I think, God, like whatever my fee was for that job, if there's a market crash, I might as well not have even bothered turning up. Like it's them kind of things where you have to be strong and resilient enough not to let it impact you. I think everyone has let it impact them at some point. We're human, like we're gonna have our moments where it's like, oh, maybe I need that money for something and it's just going down. But it's reminding myself why I got into it, how much I love it as well. Like sometimes like would I do the job for free? Potentially, yeah. So even if the market crashes, like I still had a great time doing it. So I try and look at it like you kind of have to ride the wave. But it's been a great wave to ride on because all of those lows have ultimately led me to be somewhere where, for me, sitting at 85K is still a massive win from what we've been through. I really have been through super low times where there just hasn't been the liquidity flowing in. There's been scams happening. People have been losing money. There's been a lot. Like it's been a journey. Like even the meme trends happening and just watching that play out, there's always a risk. And have I lost money as well? Hell yes. I've invested in tokens and I'm like, what was I even thinking? Who even told, like, why? Why did I do that? Why did I wake up in the morning, brush my teeth, and then the first thing I did was lose like $2,000? Why did I think? But it helps you to learn. It helps you to learn to stick to what you believe in, know your strategy very, very well, and don't really let anyone to change that path because the moment you do, that's the only times I've lost money is by listening mainly to other people, not getting out at the right time, buying into something I didn't quite understand exactly what it was. I knew the kind of fundamentals, but I didn't really understand it. So that kind of stuff is all part of the journey, but I wouldn't change it because it's definitely helped me learn and having your losses. There's no one in crypto that hasn't lost money. Like if someone tries to say that they haven't along the journey had losses, they're lying because it's tempting as well. The temptation to go and just put a little bit into something is there. Some people win, but for every person that wins, there's usually a person that's losing. So you don't just, as much as you can, avoid being that person. Try as much to be a winner and enjoy the journey as well.
For sure. And there's definitely a lot of noise in crypto, a lot of bad noise. How do you personally block out all that noise and kind of not focus on the hype?
I think a good thing for me is understanding the technology, like knowing that it's a technology driven space, why I got into it, looking at the issues in the traditional finance system. And then that reminds me enough, usually, like, God, like, no, there's two options really right now. I'm on the right side of things because other things are just not performing as they should be. And I really don't know where the traditional world is even going. So I think it's things like that that helps to remind me. And also, yeah, just like really looking in, and I don't read white papers. And like, as in, I do not spend hours reading every single detail of a white paper. But now we have AI. If you want to look at a project, take the white paper, put it in AI, get a summary of it, and then kind of reflect if you like it or not. No one has time for that. Like you're not reading the whole thing, but at least understand the fundamentals of the project. What is their roadmap? I really love looking at a roadmap. Have they hit the points that they were meant to hit even before the stage that you're at now? Where are they going with it? Do you still see it being around by the time they're saying their roadmap is going to happen? So it's things like that. Ask people, but don't always listen. So like you can speak to your friends about it and also just be cautious. Like don't put in what you're not willing to potentially lose because that's where it can go wrong. If you're really betting on something, then that's when you'll be crying if it's lost. Whereas, as I say, I kind of look at it like if I'm just leaving money in that I've earned from crypto, I mean, I don't see any of it going at all down that much in the next couple of months or even years, but at least I knew I had a great time along that journey anyway. So like I don't take it as a massive negative, but I also then make sure that I've got enough backing that it's not going to affect me too much. Of course, I would be pretty damn gutted if anything massively dropped, but it's really knowing like what your strategy is and what works best for you. Some people like taking more risk, some people don't listen to the risky one when it comes to deciding what you're going to do with your money.
Mm-hmm. So you're speaking a little bit on meme coins. Trump released a meme coin before his presidency. Then his wife did, Melania. Also, the Argentinian president did. What's your thoughts on meme coins? Are they good for this industry? Do you see them as a positive movement? Do you invest into meme coins?
I do. I have definitely purchased a few meme coins. Whether or not I think that they're the best for the industry, I am on the side of caution. I think that when people see it as being a positive, I don't always think that. I think that people that are already in the space, it's great to dabble in meme coins. We understand the risks that we're taking. To get people onboarded with meme coins is the first thing that they purchase in crypto. It's kind of, in my mind, a recipe for disaster. If you get burnt once, it's very hard to go back again. It's not that common. If you lose money, you're a lot less likely to want to come back. Why do online casinos try and make sure you win your first two goes? Because you keep coming back. Because that feeling of winning is amazing and you want it to keep happening. If you buy a meme coin and you lose, it's very hard to capture you back into crypto and try and explain to you, oh, no, it's not just meme coins. It's a whole different part of the industry. It's very difficult. So I get it in terms of people that have been in the space a while, and we understand that most of the time it's kind of a joke and we're just having fun and it's based on hype and there is this volatility and no one really puts in insane amounts into meme coins. It's a cautious act of what you're doing. I just worry for the mass market, it can have a negative as well. I think we have to be aware of that. I'm a lot more about utility. People, at least if they're creating a token, have some use behind it. Even if it's a meme coin, the money really is just flowing into the pockets of the person that's created it. It's not having any benefit. It's not actually creating any good in the world. It's just making one person or a group of people very wealthy.
Insider game.
Yeah, sure. It's a massive insider game, and that I'm not a huge fan of. I really do like the idea, if you're going to create it, at least link it to something which is a bit more positive. At least have it based around giving back to the communities, or that people have to actually do something good with the money, because at the end of the day, it's nothing. It's like a speck of dust. There's no importance to it at all. But I think we all should be a bit more accountable as well in the space, that like, at least if you're making the money, do something rather than flying around in private jets and buying a yacht. What can you give back to like communities? And I mean, I would really hope that when it came down to the Trump coin and these other meme coins, there was some good that came out of it, and some of that money did flow back into something positive. I would hope.
So I want to tap into that. In your opinion, this is your opinion, why do you think they released a Trump coin? Was it for insider game? Was it for to raise something for the campaign? Your opinion, if you want to speak about it.
Yeah, no, my opinion, I kind of think it was probably more of a show that he was supporting in crypto in a certain way. A bit of mockery of the fact that the hype side of the industry. I think maybe he was almost mocking meme coins for the fact that it's like, I can literally create a token and make millions of dollars, crazy amounts of money in a couple of days. Like, that's really the strength of the industry, and also like a negative. I think he was maybe highlighting it in a way that people maybe can acknowledge how risky the industry is with that, which is a negative, but also the power of crypto was also shown. So it was kind of a double-edged sword at that point, but it had its great points to it, which was that it showcased how successful something like that can be, but it also had the negative of it being kind of a mockery of the industry in a certain way. I would hope that, yeah, it was for his political campaign. It was to ensure that he did, yeah, have the financial backing for everything that he was trying to do. And also, was it just a bit of, yeah, a bit of a power play? Like, you're in that position, you can do it somehow. I mean, the fact that it was even allowed is just kind of crazy. Like, imagine like years ago saying like, oh yeah, your president is going to release this meme coin or just some sort of joke currency, let's put it in that respect, and it's going to make millions of dollars. Like, people would be like, but the president can't do that. Like, the president can't be involved in these things. So maybe it was also showing how different the world we live in is now, and the fact that I know Trump is massively on about freedom of speech, allowing people to operate in the world however they want. So maybe it was also kind of acknowledging the fact that even though he's the president, he can do what he wants, and he can be as much part of crypto as he wants to be. And I kind of love that at the same time. It's kind of like I'm just like anyone else, and if I want to make a meme coin and make money, I can. Ha 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 to everyone else. Like, it proves that, yeah, I'm just like everyone else in a weird way, but just with millions in the bank.
For sure. I mean, I think freedom's super important, and I think that's what he's doing, of course, to a certain sense. Bybit hack happened. There's millions lost. There's shady exchanges where billions are lost. How should people protect themselves in crypto based off of your past experience and everything you've learned?
It's all about self-custody. Be really careful of what you keep on exchanges, because that money, like it can go in a traditional banking world, it can also, tomorrow you could wake up and there be an issue, especially with a centralized exchange. You need to be a bit cautious with it. Of course, I hope now we've gone on this journey that we're not going to see that as much. But if you've got, again, like this holding that you really can't bear to lose, make sure it's in your own custody. Buy yourself a nice hardware wallet and make sure that you have your crypto stored somewhere else than just out there in an exchange, because it can happen. These things happen all the time as well. No matter anywhere we are, it can happen. There's always that small tiny chance, so just protect yourself as well. And then it's a great way of learning why crypto becomes such an important thing, what decentralization is, what it's like to have control over your assets. And I know people worry, they're like, oh, it's seed phrases, how am I going to remember, what do I do with my seed phrases? We are very lucky being here in Dubai and it being one of the safest places in the world. You can be a bit more relaxed with it. Of course, if it's somewhere else, which it's a bit more difficult, like where do I hide my seed phrases? But this has been an issue that we've dealt with for so many years anyway. Like, I mean, I would say even my grandma like used to put cash under her mattress to try and keep it safe. So there's always that issue. If you have custody over your own money, it comes with risks. So the risk is that you're going to have a seed phrase that you need to memorize, or you need to keep somewhere safe. But as long as you're aware of that and you can figure that out, then you'll be fine. You just need to take these steps. And there's a lot of new technology behind it as well, where it's not always, you can have other ways of getting into your wallet as well, whether it be like a fingerprint. I know they're constantly evolving to make it as simple as possible for people.
So you had the chance to research a lot. I'm assuming a bunch of different projects. There's AI tokens, there's gaming tokens, there's NFTs. What industries should people be looking into, and what industries, I guess, are you most bullish on?
Oh, that's a good one. I mean, most of my tokens that I have invested in that have been altcoins, so that being AI projects, that being some gaming tokens, if I'm completely honest, they really haven't performed as I was hoping. I love buying into a project and I love understanding what the company's going to do, and that being the selling point. But honestly, it's hard to know. But again, if you like what that company's doing, so say it's an AI project, if you believe in what they're doing, it's kind of like a crowdfunding in a way. Like, you're giving your money towards that project in order for them to succeed. So if you believe enough in that project, it's not the worst thing to invest in it. It depends what you want from doing that. If you're looking at making returns, I mean, AI projects have done kind of well in certain ways, but yeah, there has been also been some negative in the market based around them. I like the idea of a lot of gamification. I think we're very young on the idea of taking a lot of topics and gamifying them. I'm one of them weird people that still loves the idea of the metaverse and still thinks that we will be moving into a more Web3, potentially Web4 environment where everything is way more digital. So I think shopping will go a lot more where it's in a metaverse and people are actually trying on clothes through that avatar. We're not there yet. We're far from being there. And whenever I say metaverse, people look at me like, oh, that's an awful word. Don't use it. It's been done. We were speaking about this 5 years ago. It's so done. It's over. I don't think that. I think, but when we're getting there, I don't know. I think AI will play a big role in this and developing a lot of the technology for it. We had a big hype a couple of months ago about AI agents, but with everything going on in the world, that hasn't really been performing, like letting AI to do basically all of your finances for you and do your trading hasn't really hit the ground running either. So I think that's sometimes what's funny is that people think I'm in the know because I'm around it all day. I hear these hot topics, but it still doesn't mean it's going to be good. Well, I did a whole show based around talking about AI agents, interviewing people, everyone's super hyped up. And it hasn't really got there. But that doesn't mean that it still isn't a cool idea and there isn't other potentials of it. But not everything works perfectly. And it's knowing that and knowing that you are entering into this risk. And even if you do your own research, it doesn't mean that you're going to have the right answer. But at least you know where you're putting your money. Like, that's a really important thing. I don't want to tell people that AI is the next best thing, because there's certain projects in AI that will fail. Doesn't mean everything's failing, but you really need to understand if you think that utility within AI is a good idea or not. Still might crash, but it's worth at least knowing where you're placing yourself in the industry.
And you brought up the metaverse. What does a metaverse look like to you? Is it like Ready Player One, The
No,
Matrix?
no. See, I'm very much, my idea of the metaverse is a lot more, I'm very sociable. I love events. I love things being in person. I don't think we're losing that anytime soon unless we have to. That's the concerning thing in the world is like, again, we don't know in the next 20, 30 years what's going to happen and where we're going to be. Like, are we going to be able to do as much stuff in person? God, like, we don't know. We don't know what the landscape is for that time. But for me, a good thing for the metaverse to be used for is things like education, gamification of education, helping for the children that don't like sitting in a classroom. There's an alternative where they can actually just do every classroom from home. And it can be that long period of time as if they're in school, but they're there and they're connected and they're learning a lot more. It would be the shopping experience where online shopping is absolutely useless because I have no idea if that's going to fit me or not. The idea of having an avatar which has my exact measurements, which can then go into an online shop and try on that outfit and show me exactly how it's going to look. Oh, this is actually a tiny bit out of your measurement, so it might not fit you. Maybe you should go a size up. That to me is revolutionary. Gaming, of course, it's going to be a big thing in gaming, and gaming is such a big part of the Web3 tech space. In lot real estate, I want to go and view the house if I can literally see a render, an exact replica of that property in the metaverse. It's game changing. I have to travel if, say, someone wants to buy a property in the UAE and they live in the UK. It's just way easier not to have to fly here and be like, okay, I know exactly. And it has to be that exact. It has to be so perfect that it does feel like you're in the room. So then things like that. The internet is always evolving. The world around us is always evolving. So in my mind, that's the next step. I don't see any other step other than that being where the internet is going.
I see. I know that's definitely a good perspective. When it comes to coins, I want to speak on, I guess, more of like the grandfather coins like Ethereum, Bitcoin. What are like the most secured investments someone could essentially look into and make? Not financial advice, of course.
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin. Like, if you really look at how it's performed, it's just insane, its performance in the last few years. And it is, as you say, the godfather, the OG, where everything came from. And it's very difficult to replicate. I mean, it's almost nigh on impossible, dare I say, because it is the digital gold. There is no real alternative that's ever going to reach the highs of what Bitcoin's at. I think people have accepted that as well. It's kind of like we can have our project next to it and we can be doing our own payments and whatever it is we want to find in the space, but we're not hitting what Bitcoin's hit. Like it's kind of in its space on its own, I would say. Um, Ethereum is more, I think the reason why we haven't seen it performing so well is because it has been replicated in better ways. We've got Solana, we have Sui, we have other companies building these networks, which actually are a 2.0, a 3.0, a better version of the original. I know Ethereum went from their Ethereum to their Ethereum 2.0, but was it good enough? Was it fast enough? Did it make transactions that much cheaper? Not really. So that's got competition. It's them kind of tokens that people have to be aware that there's competition out there and there's people looking to create the next best thing. And that's where all of these different tokens come from, the Solanas of the world, which memes massively. People build most of their meme coins on Solana. People have even moved from the Ethereum network and are moving across to Solana. That potential of not sticking on Ethereum but moving elsewhere and having these options is dangerous in my mind. Would I still say Ethereum is a good bet to be relatively secure? Yes, but also look at what else is doing something similar and are they doing it better? And if they're doing it cheaper, faster, there's more people building on their network, then switch to the one that actually makes more sense. And whether that be Ethereum to you, and some people are obsessed with Ethereum. I've been to ECC, I've seen what they're creating. They have a great community. Do I think they're going to have a massive negative pull? Not overly, but there are alternatives. There's new things coming out all the time, and it's being aware that that could be better.
And you travel a ton for crypto events. What are, I guess, emerging, because I know UAE is, of course, one, but other than the UAE, what are some emerging places that are adopting crypto more?
I mean, I feel like the UAE now is not even emerging. It's almost like it's actually doing what a lot more countries aren't doing. Asia. I mean, most people don't even know, but like 9 of the top 10 exchanges are from Asia. So their position in the space is incredible. They have a lot of power in the space. They are doing a lot to move forward. And again, they are extremely digital there as well. So when they have their WePay and their WeChat and everything's done under certain platforms. So this whole concept of digital payments is so ingrained in them that I think crypto they're much slower to adopt certain things and they are very cautious. But I think certain parts of Asia have a lot of potential. And of course, then you have the places which it would be really happy to have international payments that are much cheaper, quicker. So whether it be a lot of emerging countries, so places like India, which had a few issues with crypto, kind of pulled back, regulated a lot, didn't allow as many exchanges, but they're now starting to allow a lot more to happen in India. And I think that's super exciting, especially for cross-border payments. Look at the amount of people here in Dubai that send money back home, and let's say 5 years ago, one of the main ways people were doing it is what is the company that does it? The big ones. I think the main one out there that allows you to do international payments. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but they charged big fees to do it. And on these sometimes smaller quantities that people are spending, the fees, it's just ridiculous. And it takes ages. They've got a Western Union. They've got to go there. They've got to try and transfer the money, or they've got to try and speak to their bank to get the money transferred. It's difficult. It's not efficient. Now they have crypto. And I wouldn't even like to say the amount of people here that do that payment transfer. So doing that in crypto is going to be incredible for these different emerging countries, whether that be Southeast Asia, whether that be India, as I say, Pakistan, South America. I really think that we're going to be seeing a lot of emerging companies really adapting to crypto as well. Europe, in my personal opinion, has been lagging behind a lot. If they start upping their game, we could see a lot of stuff happening there. But yeah, I mean, there's just so much potential internationally.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right about China being super digitalized. I think pretty soon the rest of the world is moving from fiat to digitalization. Crypto is decentralized. What are your thoughts on when things do move in the digital way for there to be a central digital currency?
Yeah. I mean,
Centralized.
yeah, I think that's pretty nerve-wracking for most people in the space because that then becomes most people's simplest route to take. If every country makes their own CBDC, then they're likely probably if they've already got their money in a bank account, it's they're probably the governments will make it super easy to convert it, and then that will maybe lose the momentum for crypto. That's why I think we need to ensure that we're ingraining already why decentralization is important, why not giving countries and governments even more power of your money, because ultimately, I mean, really now, even now, we live in a very digitalized currency world. Like my bank account, what I look at, and sorry guys, I do have a bank account in the UK, that money that's stated there, they don't hold it. There is not my money sat in that bank waiting for whenever I want it. It's a digital number. It's not actually, they're using that money, they're trading, they're doing whatever with my money. I don't really own that money at all. So fundamentally, the banks have already kind of done it. If governments then do it, so there's no longer the need to even print money, I don't know what they're going to do about inflation and things like that, though, because then they don't really have the option. If they create a finite central bank currency, then they're not going to have that ability to print more, which is usually the best way out of debt. So it's going to be very interesting how the governments adapt and adopt it. And yeah, how they see this kind of like digitalized future, because ultimately they have a lot of power when it comes to, yeah, if they make it so simple for people, people might take that route instead of going down the crypto route. But I still think we've got lots of time as well. So I think as long as we're shaping things right in crypto now and how we want it to shape the future, we just need to keep doing things in like a positive way and really helping to make people realize the importance of having this control over their assets.
Hmm. Yeah, because when I sometimes hear centralized digital currency, if one government's controlling it, that can kind of limit a person's privacy and freedom, right? Where they can track pretty much everything.
Yeah, they can block, literally press a button and block everything you mainly what you have. You wouldn't be able to travel because if they blocked your card and said, sorry, we're putting a ban on you, you can't use your card at all, well then I can't even go anywhere. Like there's no way of getting that money out at all. I can't even withdraw for an ATM. I can't go into my bank and it's a lot more tracking then via the government. And as I say, that we don't know the landscape in the next 20, 30 years. We've seen what happened with a lockdown of something like COVID. How much more power do we want to give to a government to allow them to be like, stop, you can't do anything, you can't move around, you have no access to your funds? What do people do? Like that, people work, ultimately you work to earn money. If someone then is taking control of your money, what are you even working for? Like if it becomes, and then everyone's going to say, well, we're going to have AI, and then we're just going to have to pay AI, and that's going to create an ecosystem. People will work less. I don't think anyone really knows where the world's going to be in the next 10 years. I think it's so difficult to say with AI, with these different governments and how they want to operate. But I think just trying to maintain your own peace of mind and your own security, crypto is a great way of doing that. Like, even if you're not thinking I'm going to need it in the next 5 years, I mean, holding and having that power over your own digital assets, if the world goes a bit crazy, you're in a great position. You really, really are in comparison to people that didn't think maybe I should, even a small holding, just as a security blanket, just in case anything ever happens.
So, one last question I wanted to ask you was it's a two-part question. If you can go back in time and tell yourself one thing before getting into crypto, what would that be? And also, from this point on, what would you tell your future 10-year-old, 20-year-old self?
So if I could go back before I got into crypto, it would probably be stay calm. Do not panic. Do do not doubt what you know and what you believe in, because people will try and test it. People will judge the path that you've taken. Gosh, the amount of times I heard that was it was just crazy when people are like, why would you choose to do that? That doesn't make any sense. You come from a finance background. Surely you're not going to take the path which takes you away from being logical. So that would probably be it, is like less listening to people and always maintaining your core values, which I'm really happy that I've done, but trying to avoid the external ideas of making money quick, which is very possible in the space. I mean, I know tons of people that are like, I just want to become an influencer and become rich. That's a path that you can choose to take, but I would choose to take the one that actually has longevity, and no matter what happens, I know that I've done it how I wanted to do it. And I think that's a really important message I would make sure I told myself throughout that journey, is like, just keep it authentic and keep it you, and don't doubt along the journey. And then if I was going to tell myself something for the going into the future, it's be more open-minded to change, I would say. Try as much as possible, as I've been saying quite often, is like, anything is possible in the future. Keep very open-minded to realizing that the world is very unique. People are different. How we live is so different. So something that doesn't always make logical sense for you could have a great impact somewhere else. So always being very much aware of that, and aware of how much things change so quickly. Like I watch TV now, 20 years of like a program, it's like 20 years old, and you just think, God, that looks so different than what we see now and what we consume now. And social media, like how much that's changed the landscape of things. And I remember when TikTok first came out, and someone asked me, that I got a message on Instagram, and it was verified TikTok, come on board as one of our influencers. We'll help you to achieve like a great following, do all of this. Did I really ever want to become an influencer? No. But at the time, my first thought was, there's Instagram. TikTok's never going to work. Like that, why is there's not a need in the market? It's never going to work. And I never even thought to take up that opportunity. As I say, did I want to become an influencer? It didn't really bother me. So maybe it probably was the best path, but not having that mindset, listening to everything, and taking time before you make a decision as well. Like, it might, when you first hear something, not sound like it's great or not sound innovative. But sometimes the best way to operate is to replicate before you innovate. And like just taking someone else's idea and doing it a little bit better, which kind of TikTok, it was based, still social media, but just the video version more of Instagram. Even though it doesn't sound revolutionary, look what it did. So I think it's always having that mindset of taking a moment, taking a week, taking 2 weeks before you really make a decision on what you think is good and what you don't think is good. Hopefully within that time, still short enough that you're not missing the wave, but also you fully do understand and comprehend the pros, the cons, everything. That sometimes is the better approach to have.
For sure. Well, Lily, it's been a delightful conversation.
This has been awesome. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it.
It was really cool to hear your unique story and journey, and I wish you the best of luck on your future journey. And I guess one last thing is, where can people find you?
I mean, they can find me at my Instagram, obviously, because I don't use TikTok as much. So Lilly Douse. I also have my YouTube, which is Talk Crypto to Me. And I probably will be starting up my podcast again at some point soon, on stage at crypto events, Bitcoin conference in Vegas. Anyone out there that's going to be there, please come say hi. I'm also always really friendly and nice. I love chatting to people. So please, like, if you see me in the street, come up to me. It'll make my day, honestly. Like, no matter what, just say hi.
Thank you so much, Lily. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah.